Xbox acquiring Activision Blizzard is the biggest acquisition in gaming history, so let's talk about it. Welcome back to another video, guys. If you enjoy daily content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So yesterday morning, we got, I would say, the biggest event, I guess, or the biggest announcement and acquisition in the history of video games, especially from a dollar amount and just with how this is shaping the landscape of the industry. This is obvious what Xbox and Microsoft is doing. They're playing that long-term game. They want to make sure that their subscription model is the premier subscription model with the best content and the most content going forward, and that you're going to be able to access this content anywhere through the streaming, through the Xbox, through the PC, on your phone, all of that type of stuff. And an acquisition like Activision Blizzard just continues to bolster that. We know Xbox is the premier place to play when it comes to value for the subscription service with Xbox Game Pass and just the incredible games that are on there and all the first party stuff and all the Bethesda stuff that's going to be coming, Starfield. And now we have this, which adds so many studios, so many IPs. Like the biggest one of all, I would say, is Call of Duty. But if you look away from like the, I guess, hardcore gaming scene, there's also like Candy Crush and King and how much money that brings in, which is going to be a big thing for Microsoft and gaming going forward. So a couple other interesting things came out of this acquisition, and the first one here is that Phil Spencer is now going to be the CEO of Microsoft Gaming. So he got a big promotion from this, which, I mean, well deserved, because he has done so much to turn around Xbox, especially from the Xbox One era. And everybody from Activision and Blizzard who are coming over are going to be reporting up to Phil Spencer, and he's going to be the big head there, just taking control, I guess, and taking the lead on everything, which I think is a good thing. I mean, if anything, it means Phil Spencer may be at Xbox, maybe at Microsoft longer than we think, because I know that he has talked about he has been there for a while and he doesn't have more years ahead of him than he has behind him. And the day that Phil Spencer leaves, I think, will be a sad thing for Xbox. I think it'll be crucial that they choose the right person for the job to replace him, the person that will be able to do the job the best. And maybe this will mean that this won't be for a long time now. Now, what else was interesting within this email, this letter to the company, was that they have announced that they have surpassed 25 million Game Pass subscribers, which is a huge amount. I think the last official reported number we had was 18 million or 21 or something along those lines, but 25 million is a great number. I guess they've surpassed that, so officially we can now use that number going forward. And obviously, this number is going to continue to grow exponentially, especially when they start talking about the future Call of Duty content coming out and just the future Blizzard games, all of those PC games, Overwatch, Starcraft, Hearthstone, World of Warcraft, just insane, because those are such big games. When they get more information about that and what they're going to do with that, and maybe there'll be perks with Xbox Game Pass, those numbers are going to skyrocket. And we don't really know what they're going to do yet. I mean, it's back to this stupid, debate that's going to happen until this deal is official, which will be in 2023. And the stupid debate is exclusivity and all that type of stuff. My hunch is they're going to just pretty much follow along the same lines as they did with the Bethesda content. A lot of the legacy games like Warzone, which is free to play, they're not going to take that off other platforms. It's not a good business decision. That will stay on PlayStation. But future Call of Duty games, especially like the single player content from those games and the brand new even multiplayer stuff, I think have a decent chance of being exclusive to the Xbox ecosystem. Now, we do have this quote that came from Phil Spencer, and he says here, "I'll just say to players out there who are playing Activision Blizzard games on Sony's platform, it's not our intent to pull communities away from that platform, and we remained committed to that." But again, like, that's super vague. You don't know what that means. Said similar things along those lines when it came to Bethesda, but I think they're going to continue along the lines of what they did with Bethesda. Legacy stuff, Warzone, World of Warcraft, Overwatch, that stuff will stay within every platform, and then maybe the next Overwatch game, Overwatch 2, or a new expansion for World of Warcraft or something like that, or maybe just a brand new game, MMO from Activision Blizzard, that stuff will be exclusive to wherever Xbox is, the Xbox ecosystem, and you're gonna have to subscribe to the service in order to access it. But like I said, we will see what all this stuff is gonna be debated on back and forth for the next year. It's gonna be really annoying to see the fanboys going back and forth, but that's how it goes. And the other thing that a lot of people are talking about with this deal, which we will see people going over nonstop, is will this deal go through? Now, this banter, this talk about this is going to be just all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that's going to occur until it's finalized next year. And you have a lot of people thinking that this is like a monopoly type of thing, and it goes against what lawmakers in Washington want, which was more control over corporate monopolies, and they think that something like this would go against the corporate monopoly in the video game industry. So people are going to be debating whether this deal is going to go through, is it going to be stopped, and all that type of stuff. And my thoughts on this just is based off of pure logic, in the sense that Xbox, Microsoft, such a massive corporation. They probably have some of the best lawyers, some of the best people on this topic that have been working on this for way longer than we can even think of. They probably have done so much due diligence with this matter, and their estimation is probably almost at like 90, 95, 99% that this deal is going to go through without a shadow of a doubt. And if that wasn't the case, I highly doubt we would have seen a public announcement like this from Xbox and from Microsoft. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I could be completely off on that, but it just makes no sense. I think a lot of people will be debating whether this is going to go through and stuff, just for that fear, uncertainty, and doubt for this deal here, you know, because it gets people clicking, gets people talking about it. And even in this article, I mean, the guy even admits here, I suspect that the legal advice and the banking advice that Microsoft and Activision have here is top shelf, no doubt. And so I think if DC doesn't stand up and do something here, fast forward 1-2 years down the road, and they start talking about greater regulation, I think most people won't buy it. Most companies won't believe that they're actually going to take control. And it finishes it off here. In the end, the deal gets done. It will get done. In my opinion, it will get done. I don't think there's anything to worry about on that. And I really don't think they would have announced this if there was really any chance that it was going to get blocked or going to get stopped. Now, in terms of what IPs does Xbox now have? It's a pretty huge list with some awesome IPs. One of the things that made me kind of laugh the most, not in like haha we got you type of thing or haha Xbox is better than PlayStation type of thing, is the fact that they now own Crash Bandicoot, which was like the biggest PlayStation mascot back in the day. It was like almost on the level of Super Mario. I absolutely love Crash Bandicoot. I remember playing it on my PS1, and it was one of my favorite games during that generation. So here is the list of IP. So you have Blur to start it off. That's like a racing game, I believe. Caesar, I'm not really sure what that is. Call of Duty, I mean, that's probably for most people the biggest acquisition here. You look at Call of Duty, every single year it is the top selling game. Even in a year like Vanguard, where from what I've seen, the critical reception amongst Call of Duty Vanguard was pretty bad. And what I'm hearing amongst the Call of Duty community, because I haven't played too much of Vanguard, I do have it, but I haven't had time to really jump into it. I may get into it soon, is that the game is broken. And like the majority of Call of Duty games are broken right now, and it's still selling. People are still playing it, which is, I guess, a crazy thing to think about, not a great thing. But maybe the reason why stuff hasn't been getting fixed as fast as it should, or fast, I guess, as it usually does, is because of all of this stuff that's been going on in the background. Candy Crush. I mean, Candy Crush is huge. Candy Crush makes so much money. It's a massive, just inside foot for Xbox, for Microsoft, I guess, in the mobile market. And they're definitely wanting to reach as many gamers as possible. That will be huge. Crash Bandicoot. I mean, what can you say? It's an incredible platformer. It's an amazing franchise. And now they have another option for that big mascot for Xbox. I mean, I doubt they'll use Crash Bandicoot as their mascot just because it's synonymous with PlayStation for the longest time, so it may confuse people, but we'll wait and see. And I hope that it's a franchise they continue to make new games for. Diablo. I mean, Diablo is one of the most iconic PC games, one of the most iconic games ever made. Geometry Wars, Guitar Hero, two huge games. And there's other stuff like DJ Hero, Empire Earth, Gabriel Knight. I'm not going to go over them all because there's actually a lot, but Gun. Then you have Hearthstone. I mean, that's a huge game. Heroes of the Storm, another big one. Hexen, Interstate 76, King's Quest, Lorabo Mysteries, The Lost Viking, Overwatch, that's a massive shooter adding to the catalog of Xbox. And that one's what's most interesting to me is what are they going to do with Overwatch? Is that something when Overwatch 2 comes out, depending on when it comes out, or maybe Overwatch 3 in the future, is that a game that they're going to leave on PlayStation, or are they going to keep that to the Xbox ecosystem? Phantasmagoria, no idea what that is. Pitfall, classic Pitfall, be cool if they rebooted that. Elise Quest, Prototype, Quest for Glory, Singularity, Skylanders. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring Skylanders back. Soldier of Fortune, Space Quest, Spyro the Dragon. That's another one I would love to see them to continue to work on. And again, another game, at least for me personally, that is kind of synonymous with PlayStation because that's where I first experienced it, although I know it's been on other consoles for a long time now. Starcraft, huge franchise. Tenchu, the Legacy games, Time Shift, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I mean, one of my favorite series of all time. Hope they make a new one. True Crime, World of Warcraft. What else can you say about that? And Zork. So there is a lot of IPs right now with Xbox that they have, and they have so much ability to just kind of innovate and create new versions of these games and just bolster that Xbox Game Pass service. And who knows what they will do with these IPs? That's the thing. They're probably not going to use all of them. They're probably not going to create AAA style games with all of them. They may branch off and make smaller indie style games with some of these IPs, although they aren't going to be indie because they're going to be coming from big AAA devs, but you know what I mean. And it's going to be very interesting to see once we get more information in the future about this acquisition and what Xbox plans are. And finally, Bobby Kotick. That's one of the main things people want to know about because of what happened in Activision Blizzard, all of the terrible things within their working environment and their culture, and how that needs to obviously be changed going forward. People want to know if Bobby Kotick is still going to be around once this deal goes through, and it looks like when it goes through, he is going to be stepping down from his position and he will be out of the company. Now, it makes sense that he is staying on right now until this transition happens. I'm assuming that was a part of the deal going through, and a part of the deal finalizing between the two companies was he has to stay on until Xbox takes over, and then he's going to leave. And when it comes to the culture at Activision Blizzard, yes, their reputation right now is not very good, and that's why this timing for this deal makes a ton of sense, because they get to offload it onto Xbox. Xbox gets to save money because their value hasn't really been too much lower recently. Like, it was down like 30% in terms of their valuation, in terms of their stock this year. So Microsoft gets a good deal, and they get to take on changing the culture over at Activision Blizzard. And honestly, I think that there couldn't really be a better place right now to do this if we look at what Xbox and Phil Spencer and what they have been doing with their current studios and their current acquisitions. From everything we're hearing, at least, is that the culture is great there. They give them their autonomy. They allow them to work in the same way they were working before the acquisition. And yes, obviously all corporations have their bad things going on. That's just inevitable. It's not perfect, but I think if anyone can turn around Activision Blizzard, bring back that culture, bring back a culture that is good for their employees and good for as a working environment, I have full faith that Phil Spencer and Xbox can do it. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. It was an absolutely wild day yesterday with the announcement, and there are going to be so many developing stories out of this entire thing. It's going to be really exciting going forward. If Bethesda was exciting, I think this will be even more exciting just because of the scope and scale of it, even compared to that Bethesda deal. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw throughout this video, you found it entertaining, you found it informative, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Help this channel grow, help grow this community. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.